What's up, everybody? I'm the teleworker, and today we're reviewing Elvis. I will admit, at first, I was a doubter. I really was. I thought that Austin Butler did not look enough like Elvis. I was very, weirded out. I didn't know how much of Elvis's story they were really going to show in the movie because there's a lot of very sensitive parts about it, and so I was like, we'll see. I didn't rush out to see this movie, but I was blown away. I gotta admit, Austin Butler's performance in this is from the ground up, start to finish, phenomenal. Everything about it is amazing. His singing is amazing. He walks like Elvis, talks like Elvis, sings like Elvis. It's insane. Like it really is. I've never heard anyone sound so close.
Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do, that's all right.
There's a lot of people out there who can do great impressions of Elvis's talking, but the singing is a really hard thing to do, and that's why most actors refuse to sing for biopics, is because they can't do the singing. But Austin Butler nailed that shit. Like, wow. There were moments in the movie where he's performing on stage, he's playing favorite songs. I found myself smiling like them damn teenage girls in the movie. I was just sitting there like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. What I will say though is there are some issues that I had with the movie, but none of them ruined the movie. Overall, I very much enjoyed the movie. But the first act, this is a Baz Luhrmann movie, and so he makes a lot of very creative choices with the way he tells stories, and sometimes they land with the audience, sometimes they don't. And the first act of this did not land with me. It struggled to kind of find its footing. Like it didn't know whether it wanted to be a super creative, weird movie or if it wanted to be a biopic. And once you get into the storytelling part, then you're hooked. But at the beginning, when it's really flashy and there's a lot of different stuff going on and they're jumping between different parts of his life, and it's very weird. So yeah, the first act struggled a little bit for me. The rest of the movie, while it does have its slow moments, um they all feel earned in my opinion. I'm somebody who tends to like a lot of slower movies. I prefer that they take their time to really push out those emotional beats and the more boring parts of the movie, like talking. Um, so some people hate stuff like that. They don't want to see a 10-minute long conversation scene. They just want to see the action or whatever the big draw for the movie is. So like for instance, this movie for some people should have been just Elvis's performances and like nothing else. And like that would have sucked. You have to have the story there, and I really liked the way that they handled Elvis's personal life throughout the movie. I'm sure there's inaccuracies, there always is, but overall, the story is very well done. I really liked it. I really liked that they focused on his relationship with his family, his parents, his wife, his daughter, all that stuff. They really drive home how lonely Elvis feels despite the amount of support he has around him, and I really liked that. I thought that that was very well done. Austin Butler's performance in a lot of the emotional scenes, especially there's one really big one towards the middle of the film that's very well done, and I really liked that. The only other thing I could really say, without spoiling too much, is the rest of the cast was also good as well. It took me a couple minutes to get used to Tom Hanks, because his character was a very odd person in real life. So he has like a weird accent that doesn't quite sound right, and he talks very strange, and he moves very strange, and so yeah, Tom Hanks takes a second to get used to, especially in the first act. Like I said, the first act is the only part that I really didn't care for too much. I didn't hate it, but it was just strange. The second and third act are extremely well done. The way that they handle several political tensions at the time, and the way that they not only mention the fact that most of Elvis's songs are covers, but they actually name drop and show the artists themselves. So there's a lot of black artists from the 50s that got kind of justice basically in this movie because they said that Elvis played their songs. They were their songs. It wasn't Elvis's songs, it was theirs. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see them actually acknowledge that. Elvis is probably the most famous cover singer of all time. Another thing that kind of pulled me out of the movie just a little bit was the soundtrack. There are moments in the movie where they're focusing on the date, whatever year it is. It's like 1956 or whatever. And then all of a sudden they start playing a rap song. I don't hate rap music, just to be clear. It's just that it's the 50s. They didn't have rap back then. So when you play a modern rap song in a scene where Elvis Presley is walking through Memphis, it's just weird. Like, I didn't know how to feel about it. It was very awkward. It doesn't ruin the movie for me at all. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a big issue, but it pulled me out of the movie a couple times because it would just randomly be a rap song and you'd be like, oh, okay. But overall, I really liked the movie. I think it was very enjoyable. That first act was really rough, but the movie really finds itself in its second act, and you get hooked immediately once they get more into Elvis's personal life. And wow, man, like I can't express enough how good Austin Butler was in this movie. I really can't. Like, I don't even know how to put it in words. Overall, I'd probably give this movie, I'm gonna say a 7.5 out of 10. Only because there's a lot of creative choices that didn't land with me personally. But I'm gonna give Austin Butler's performance an 11 out of 10. I'll be surprised personally if he doesn't get nominated for this for an Oscar. I think he deserves at least a nomination. Also, the makeup and hair and costume people should also get a nomination for this because there's a sequence where he is the older, like chubbier Elvis. He's got a little more weight to him. He's got like fat on his neck, and they did a lot of prosthetics and makeup for his face, and it was very well done. I'm sure maybe if I see it a couple more times, my score will probably go up to an 8 because I'll be used to the things that weirded me out at first. But this is my first impression. I saw it last night, thought about it. This is how I feel now. So yeah, I'll probably watch it again at some point. I definitely did not hate it. It's very enjoyable. It does feel a little long in some places, but overall, it gets a positive score for me. I liked it. But when we are